Hello there, it's Adrian here again. So far we've been mainly focusing on our fretting hand. I've shown you how to play a few chords and we've been working on changing smoothly between those chords. In this lesson I want to take a look at your other hand, your strumming hand. Now this is just as important as your fretting hand, and it's where your rhythm and your groove is going to come from. I want to talk a little bit about using a pick, what kind of pick I think you should be using, how to hold a pick, and then I'm going to give you a few strumming patterns just to get you started. So let's start with looking at what kind of pick to use. You might even be asking, well, do I need to use a pick at all? And the answer to that is not necessarily. There are many players who play what's called fingerstyle guitar, meaning they're not using a pick, they're just using the flesh or the nails of their right hand to pick the strings. And whilst that's a lovely way of playing guitar, it's not something I recommend you doing as a complete beginner. I think the best thing to do at the start is to learn to play using a pick, which is the way I'm going to be showing you how to play in these lessons. Later on, you could always get into fingerstyle playing if that's something that interests you. Now, as far as what kind of pick to use, picks come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes and thicknesses. I recommend going for a standard shape and size of pick, and also one that is quite thin. Thinner picks tend to sound better for strumming the guitar, and they're also far easier to control for a beginner. Personally, I'm using here a Jim Dunlop USA nylon 0.73mm pick, which I find to be a very good pick for strumming. As a beginner, you might want to go for something even thinner than that. They come in 0.46mm or 0.60mm. As I say, they'll be a bit easier to control, and both of those would be a very good choice of pick for a beginner. So let's look at how to hold the pick. This is, I suppose, a textbook way of holding the guitar pick. You may well see some people doing it a bit differently. I know there are some players, even some really good players, who hold the pick in a bit of a weird and eccentric way, and that seems to work for them, which is fine. But as a beginner, this is the way I'd recommend you do it. What I want you to do is to curl your index finger over like that, and then you're going to place the pick on the side of your index finger with the point pointing downwards, and then you're going to cover it with your thumb like that. You want to hold it fairly firmly but not too tight, and you want to aim to have about a third to a half of the pick showing out from under your thumb. You don't want to hold the pick too far down towards the tip, or there's going to be nothing to strum the strings with. Neither do you want to hold the pick too far at the other end, or it's going to flap around, it's going to be hard to control, and there's the danger that you might drop it. So you want about a third to a half of the pick showing, and we're going to be strumming the strings with the point of the pick. Now we're holding our pick properly. Let me show you how to use it by giving you a series of strumming patterns. I'm going to demonstrate these by holding down an E chord, and the first pattern is one that we've seen before. It's very simple. We're just going to be playing 4 downward strums. Now, music is usually made up of a series of regular beats. More often than not, we're going to divide those beats up into groups of 4, and each of those groups of 4 beats is going to be called a bar. So let me show you what I mean. We're just holding down the E chord, 4 downward strums. Let me repeat: 1, 2, 3, 4. So I want you to have a go at doing this, and try and keep count of what strum you're on, either counting out loud or in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And get used to how it feels to use the pick. Just feel the pick moving smoothly over the strings, and you're aiming to keep this as regular and as even as you possibly can. Remember not to hold the pick too hard, and nor do you want to hold it too loosely, or it will move around and there's a danger that you might drop it. And if there's a key to getting this to sound good, it's going to be as relaxed as you possibly can be. Notice the strumming movement is coming a bit from my forearm and a little bit from my wrist as well, but at all times I'm trying to be as relaxed as possible. And and that's how you're going to get the best sound. So once that is feeling good, we can try and add in some upward strums. Now the upward strums are going to fall in between the main beats that we were just playing. For example, let's try this. We're going to add an upward strum in between beats 2 and 3. Let me show you what I mean. I want you to go down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. And you want to be counting that 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So have a go at doing that, and you're just going to need to get used to how that upward strum feels. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. A lot of people find it a little bit awkward to get the hang of those upward strums to begin with, but you just need to do it a lot. Notice that I'm not actually playing all of the strings when I'm doing an upward strum. I'm probably just playing the top 4 or so strings, so the first, second, third and fourth strings. I'm not really hitting the lower strings. Also really helps here not to hold the pick too hard. If you're holding the pick too hard, it's going to snag and get caught on the strings when you're coming up through them. So let's give it one more try. 4, 1, 2 and 3, 4. And the really important thing that I should point out is that my right hand and arm is constantly moving. At no point am I hesitating at the top or the bottom of the strum. And if there is one secret to good solid rhythm guitar playing, that is it. Just keep your right hand moving at all times, and then you just choose when you hit the strings. So let me just show you that one more time. 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. Notice my hand is always moving. Down, down, up, down, down. Once that is feeling good, we can add some up strums in other points and in the bar. So let's try adding in one more up strum after beat 4. That would sound like this. We'd have 1, 2 and 3, 4 and down, down, up, down, down, up. 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 4 and. Or we could try adding an up strum after beat 2 and after beat 3. That would sound like this. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4. 1, 3 and 4. And once that's feeling good, you could always pick up the tempo and play it a little bit faster. Okay, I think we've made some really good progress in this lesson. We've got our right hand happening. We've learned some really good strumming patterns, which are going to come in very useful when we start playing some songs. Talking of which, I think it's high time we looked at a song together, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing in the next lesson, and I will see you then.